So I'm Larissa Pschetz from University of Edinburgh, Design Informatics, and I'm here with my colleague Kruakae Pothong. She's going to magically appear in the middle of the presentation to pick up from the part that she contributed to the work, mostly contributed to the work. And Kruakae is from Science, Technology, Engineering and Public Policy, University College London. And we are here to present our work, which was really an attempt to combine our expertise in design and policy research to look for ways to discuss issues around autonomous systems with the public, particularly in the context of energy. So I think we're all aware that digital platforms and products are gaining different levels of autonomy. Perhaps we are not really reaching the vision of fully distributed autonomous societies. But you might have, for instance, have had your identity checked on your way to this conference, to Glasgow. And this might have involved some level of computational decision-making regarding your ability to travel. And we are also aware that autonomous systems are designed and as a result of human design, they are also embedded with particular values. So how can you guarantee that these values are in line with those of people who are affected by the decisions made by these systems? Discussing these issues with those affected, of course, is paramount, but we also think that this is particularly challenging. And it's challenging for three main reasons. So first of all is the seamlessness of the technology that is designed to collect data and process data, but which make decisions in the background, and these decisions are rendered invisible. Second is the absence of a bridge between this emerging technology that is seen as unfamiliar and people's experience with technology in the everyday, which becomes habitual and also invisible. And finally, and perhaps most importantly, is the lack of a conceptual space for experience sharing, reflecting, and collecting problem solving and decision making. So we think that design can help. Well, I'm a designer, of course, I think that. And while design can indeed help to hide these decisions sometimes, as you can have many examples of products that do that, there has been several examples of speculative design projects that surface contentious issues and even provide a bridge between emerging and familiar technology. It is, however, not quite clear how we designers can provide a reconciliation between the critique and a course of action for technological implementation. So Kruakae and I have worked together to devise a method that would support this reconciliation. And this method includes speculative design, drama, and deliberation. So, and we were particularly interested in energy, and more specifically in new models of energy distribution, which are supported by technologies such as blockchains, smart contracts, and smart batteries. So one application of smart batteries is, for example, in vehicles to grid systems, where batteries transact energy directly with the grid. So this way, vehicles not only consume energy, but also distribute it, becomes a distributed of energies, which is we found fascinating. So we designed the Gig Bliss hairdryers, which aim to demonstrate how devices with autonomous batteries could support different levels of control, while also supporting different interests and values. So we designed them as a conversational tool. So similar to vehicle-to-grid systems, the Gig Bliss hairdryers transact energy directly with the grid. And the transaction is defined by smart contracts hosted in a blockchain, not like the blockchain that we saw in the previous presentation, but a blockchain like Ethereum or Hyperledger. And the profit or loss from these transactions are automatically sent to a digital wallet. But then I ask, what would change if the owner of this wallet changes? And this is what we wanted to demonstrate with the different hairdryers. So with GigBliss Plus, the holder of this wallet is the user. So the user buys the hairdryer, perhaps at a higher price, and synchronizes their digital wallet with the hairdryer, which allows them to cover costs and collect profit from energy transactions. In the GigBliss balance, however, the GigBliss Corporation holds the wallet. So the corporation would lend or perhaps make the hairdryer available to consumers at a very low price, while holding the profit as well as the pressure to reduce losses in energy transactions. So finally, with GigBliss Auto, both hairdryers and energies would be subsidized by a third party, which would, for instance, pay an X amount to the GigBliss Corporation to distribute hairdryers and provide energy to a specific group. So we invited 3 actors to consider scenarios as well as underlying implications of using the hairdryers. So we filmed their improvisations and then chose 3 of the most provocative sketches to use in our deliberation sessions, which Kruakae will present. But I will show you excerpts of these sketches right now. And I hope the audio works.
This is my little giggy bank. And this earns me money. I mean, yeah, because I'm waiting to sell, but it's got the stored energy. It's fine, and I'm just waiting to sell.
Well, where's this going to end? Is you going to do the curling tongs and the straighteners? I mean, is there just the toaster? We can just make a fortune.
If it's going to make some money.
Who knows?
Don't you just want to relax in your own home and forget about this?
Yeah, but it depends. I mean, you do get a rush. You get a rush when you buy and sell like this. But it does mean you kind of have to take it with you, and it can be a bit awkward. I had to pull over in a hard shoulder to sell last week, but I made the money and it was brilliant.
Does that mean
it's
a good time to sell?
Yeah.
Yes. The light at the moment's gone to amber. Before it was green, so green you can use it, no problem at all. So there we go. You can use it. It's fine. Works fine.
It's red now.
When it's red, can't use it. No. When it's amber, got to wait a couple of minutes and then you can use it.
But it is a hairdryer.
Yes. Yeah, it works as a hairdryer. It's absolutely fine. But the energy company who made these...
They're selling the energy. So they sell the energy, which then means we get it at a discount. Yeah. So it just means we don't have 24-hour access to our hairdryer.
No, but I mean, that's the deal.
You know, like Uber. Yeah. A couple of years ago, if I'd said to you, you have to wait till a certain time before the taxi's cheap enough. And sometimes, it's like it fluctuates the price, but it means you decide and get the... It's like that, except with a hairdryer.
Except with a hairdryer, but then you put...
Well, the deal is that you see that display on the side.
Yeah.
That's going to tell us when we can use it and when we can't use it.
We can't use it?
Why on earth would we not be able to use it?
Yeah.
Because, so this is a bit hard for me to understand initially, but the energy company... through these, make energy transactions. They buy and sell energy. So there's certain times of the day when they want to be doing that we can't use it.
But we own it?
We own it, it's ours. It lives here, it's brand new, we get to use it for free, and it was free to get.
So, hang on. In the morning, when I get up, I shower, I need to leave the flat by 8:30, I need my hair dry, I can use it.
We don't know until we do a trial run, because...
So, how does design meet drama, meet public policy? Well, drama is frequently used in design, but not as often used in policy making. The common ambition in design and public policies is public support. Often in both design and public policy, getting public support goes so far as product testing and political polls. We argue, however, that people should be given more opportunities to articulate the kind of technology-mediated world they want to be living in, and in this way, help shape the development of technologies and relevant policies. But often future is a stretch of people's imagination, so it's difficult for them to talk about. For both design and public policy deliberation, drama makes relatable to personal experience what might otherwise be unimaginable. In this specific case, what might otherwise be the dramatic sketch and the theatre improvisation gives people the context of use, situating the new technology in a more familiar reality of their day-to-day life. And this is an example of how we use it.
I am technology, and I can be used by all of you as members of the general public. I can also be used by people who want to use me to create their own business as part of the gig economy.
Yeah, I'm scared. I don't know if I trust you, Uber. I mean,
why not?
I just don't know. I don't know. You're very anonymous. You're very ambiguous.
Mischief, obviously you've got peak times and non-peak times, so you effectively would just kind of set up a system where you could basically change the peak times and non-peak times, put in random kind of, not like fake pickups if you like.
In this video, what you've seen is we invited the participants to play the role of different types of users, and from this experience they started to think about different purpose of use for technologies and start to critique it. And this is just their warm-up exercise.
I am technology, and I can be used...
So, drama also provides a sketch of communicative protocol for deliberation, easing the challenge of breaking the first word. Deliberation is a talk-based process to reach mutually acceptable solutions to social problems through an exchange of and a reflection on stories, experiences, opinions, argumentation, and persuasion. The value of deliberation is empathetic reasoning rather than partisan position-taking and an obsession with winning a debate. So, to design, deliberation provides a protocol for communication that supports critical design to achieve its societal aim of empowering people to articulate their values and preferences for future technologies. Given the objective of deliberation being collective problem solving, we follow a 4-step process. This includes story sharing, problem definition, solution brainstorming, and resolution. And so here's how it works. Deliberation.
It's a bit like, this is the future, apparently, like Uber.
I think it's quite creepy actually. It's like being controlled by an appliance.
The one that worries me is this autonomous. I just like to be more in control. I want the on-off switch and be able to use it when I can and can't.
What would be your definition or understanding of control?
I got to choose what to use this for or when to use it in terms of the hairdryer. And I think the auto driving cars, you don't have like your control to make yourself feel safe, I think.
It has all the calculation for you. It has all the sensors to know, identify what's next to it.
But what if it's not working?
Something goes wrong. Something goes wrong.
Yeah.
That's it.
There was a case
put it aside or leave it, jump out and walk. You feel safe. You're walking, you're not thinking of it.
It's having an override. So knowing that you're sitting there, but knowing at any point if you don't feel comfortable with what's happening, you could, press the brake or whatever.
So in this video, you saw the flow of deliberation from experience sharing, in this case, sharing of an emotional reaction, to problem definition, and then the beginning of the solution brainstorming. It's doing it again. Right. So in the next slide, hopefully I'll get to the next slide. There you go. This is a more detailed snapshot of the deliberation. So here you see the repertoire of deliberation moving from rejection to working out why they rejected the design and arriving at, so what would work? Note the reference to the evolution of the phone, the parallel that the participants drew between the phone and the future technology, in this case, Gigabliss plus hairdryer, demonstrates the success of drama as a bridge between the familiar technology, the phone, and the unfamiliar future features of technologies. So, here on the slide you see, the table summarizes the values deduced from various suggested solutions to what participants deemed problematic. These values highlight strong sense of agency. This gives us an insight into what people expect from autonomous technologies. So far we've seen that speculative design, drama, and deliberation combined allows us to elicit people's values and preferences for autonomous distributed technologies. The articulated desired functionality, sensibility, and rationality of human experience with autonomous technologies contribute societal and civic values that are often overwhelmed by economic values underpinning the focus of affirmative design on market and innovation. As they stand, these societal and civic values provide blueprints for public support. Given the appropriate level of advocacy, these values could shape policies, implementation strategies, and design for autonomous technologies, making these technologies and their usage better serve public interest. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Floor is open for any questions you might have. I do have a question myself, if you don't mind. Okay. So when it comes to, in your opinion, what's the core factor that comes out of drama and deliberation? The core contribution.
I think now in the paper we also describe the different stages. We use drama in different ways, both to inscenate these prototypes that and dramatize a little bit what they are doing, and in the policy, and I think Kruakae talked a lot about that in the presentation, the role of that in policy research for people to embody these scenarios that, and really remembering how they felt about a particular technology or a particular context, because you can theorize that, but when you put yourselves in the shoes of that situation, it's quite different. So I think that is the conditions.
So if I understand your question correctly, you asked cost factor, right?
No, core contribution.
Core contribution.
Core contribution. Well, I think it goes to also acceptance. It's building on towards what are the factors that that would allow people to embrace something new, and this by learning in greater details about what people actually want, you standing a better chance of delivering what meets the demands.
Thank you.
There's a question there.
Yeah. Hi. Thank you. Rachel Jones. I'm very interested in this. I'm working in this area, so it's really interesting. Now, you used as your object the hairdryer as such, and I wondered, although that created the conversation in a way and helped the drama, which was in a way the intervention, I wondered if you'd chosen a different object, if you'd created a slightly different conversation, because the hairdryer feels very personal. So could you say why that object was chosen and how you could abstract, say, from that object to other objects?
Yeah, I think the aim of the project was, the project was sponsored by the EU Policy Lab, and the aim was really to provoke some discussion. So we really wanted to get into the personal level and have some object that people relate to, but it has this feeling of a little bit strange. It's not really a kettle that has been used so many times, but it's also not a battery that is anonymous and is in your house, as there are many applications nowadays. So the hairdryer was really, we wanted something that is slightly provocative and strange. Yes.
You also created the kettle.
Yes, well, this is also a series of projects that's part of a bigger project called Autonomous Energy Systems. So there are some other objects that I can advertise now that we are developing right now, which is a kettle that is less focused on the speculative side of that and more focused about how people would live with an autonomous system that would do these transactions in the home. But then we chose a kettle because the kettle is less strange and is less provocative somehow. So people would adopt that and would use it. Yes.
And so we tested, to answer your question, we tested the kettle in a slightly different context. We didn't use drama, but we used the concept of drama in terms of organizing people's experience. And kettle created a different type of conversation, possibly because of the cultural effect. So when it comes to people not being able to boil the kettle in order, and then therefore can't make tea in the English context, that's a big deal.
Yes, but these objects are really like research artifacts that can have different behaviors. The hairdryers had this particular characteristic.
I was wondering too, with the choice of drama, I've read a bit about design fiction and other kind of forms of helping people imagine. So could you talk a bit about what led you to focus on drama specifically, or other kind of ways of helping people imagine a different future that you considered?
Yeah, there is plenty of research in HCI and people who presented here at CAI, and I'm seeing some faces who worked with drama before in amazing ways. We tried to reference all of them in the paper. I hope we did cover. But in our case, drama was more, again, we use drama in two different ways, but I think it's brilliant to either get people to perform and try to put themselves in the situations, or to give a more experiential scenario of designs that might be critical. Yes.
So also the drama aspect in connection with design, we also wanted to dramatize the issues that, or what would be a little bit problematic, what we hope people would find problematic, and act that out.
Yeah, and I must say that we left the actors to just do their job, and they were absolutely brilliant. They got it without, and they raised issues that we didn't think before. So for us, it was absolutely brilliant to work with them. They're very creative and imaginative, and
So in this way, drama actually frames or asks a question or pitch a problem for people to consider it, rather than telling them that this is what we assume to be a problem for you.
Thank you. And this concludes our session for today. You've all been brilliant. I'd like to thank the speakers again, the SEC staff as well, and also the student volunteers. Thank you all. Enjoy your lunch, and paper sessions should come back by 2 p.m.